Welcome to the LaunchPreneur experience. My name is Fernanda Furman, your host for this event. And today we're talking to Laura, and I always have a hard time saying your last name. So I'm going to let you say it.
Okay.
With my accent, I always say it wrong, but I'm going to try. Laura Berman Fortgang.
Pretty darn good. Fortgang, very good. Laura
Okay,
Berman, Fortgang, you did great.
there we go. And I'm very pleased to have her here because she's going to talk about a topic that I haven't heard yet about it yet. So she's going to talk about building an A-list presence on a budget. And I feel that's so important when you're launching. And Laura is going to explain all of, what goes behind what it is. And but Laura, thank you so much for joining us. And I would love for you to share with the audience a little bit about you and how you have been serving your clients.
Sure, thank you. Happy to be here, Fernanda. I am a long-standing coach. I've been in the coaching business for over 25 years, one of the founders of the International Coaching Federation, which is the largest body that exists worldwide to do credentialing for coaches and the organizations that train them. And so I got the advantage of being out there very early on, but also the disadvantage of nobody knew what this was. So I've built a practice from having been an actor with no network to now being 25 years in business, in a six-figure business, and now scaling towards seven, doing a pivot at the pandemic time. So I have entered the world of doing launches in the last 18 months as well. So where I've been known for helping people figure out what to do with their life, I've also been known along the way as a coaching pioneer and helping other coaches come up the ranks. So I've written 5 books. I have a TEDx talk with 1.6 million views. I've been on Oprah. I've been on every TV show out there. And I've been able to leverage those things to an A-list reputation. But what I'm teaching now is that you can do that on a budget. Like, you don't have to have a publicist. You don't have to even have all the shiny stuff to have people asking for you by name. And to me, that's what the A-list is, right? Like in show business, the A-list actors are the Oscar winners, right? The household names. And then there's the B-list, the C-list, and so on. So in the service-based business, as a coach or a consultant of any kind, to be on the A-list is to be known by name. And I do take a strong stand that part of why I got those opportunities was because of the outcomes I created. So the budget part is you don't need a publicist, you need to create great outcomes and talk about those outcomes correctly. And that's what will make a difference to your launching as well.
Yes, I love that because when you think about an A-list, the first thing that comes to my mind is how much it costs and how long it's going to take. And even have that self-sabotage that says, oh my gosh, can I really be there? How long it's going to take? So can you talk a little bit about why do you think we should care about that, especially when you're doing launches? Why do you think we should bother of having that A list compared to other ways, to build their authority and build their presence?
Right. Well, there's, we need to build credibility somehow, right? So when you're first starting out, you're like, okay, maybe you got trained, or maybe it's something you did in a corporate job and now you're turning it into a business. So it's hard to get that credibility in the beginning, but you have to do it, right? So even when we talk about a testimonial, how do you get that first testimonial? You have to coach somebody, or you have to have helped somebody with your service. So the inexpensive ways to build that credibility is just that, your social proof, right? You worked with one person, they had an outcome, you get that testimonial. You had someone leave a comment on your social media about having heard you say something in a live broadcast, which is free. You want to take that and say, Joe said this about our free class or our free IG live. So it leverage is the word that you want to remember. It's about leveraging everything that comes your way, right? So if I tell you about the first time that as an ex-actor who had very big hair and didn't quite fit the corporate world, how I got my first corporate client was leverage. I found the back door into corporations because I couldn't get in the front door with my lack of credibility, was the health and wellness centers in companies. So I went and gave free talks about having boundaries, managing your time better for less stress in the wellness center, and a manager had come to that free lunch talk and was like, I need you for my team. And that's how I got my first check from Johnson & Johnson. And then now I have a corporate credibility, so I leverage that to the next thing and the next thing. So starting very, very small, you can build your A-list status without having, the magazines and the television shows recognize you yet. You can build it from nothing. And that's my point today.
Yes. And this is important because when somebody's going to invest with you, like when we're doing the launch and we are, and a lot of the coaches are offering high ticket, programs, then people don't want to invest, or they are very afraid of investing that high ticket, into the high ticket program if you don't have that credibility. And if you don't have that name and that brand that speaks to them that you're going to be able to deliver. Because, and I feel like that's what the testimonials will do for them, right? Is to put them under a list, and that's going to be like, hey, this person delivers. And also when you start seeing, like you're saying, you're doing the free talk, you will now, you have been seen as somebody that knows what you're talking about, that can deliver on that content. And now you get referred by other people. Not only, you get paid for it, but also when somebody says, hey, do you know somebody that can talk about this? Oh, Laura can.
Exactly. I mean, one of my first coaches said to me, and very clearly said, I get paid in 3 ways. You write me the check or pay your credit card every month. You tell me how our work is going, like how is it working for you? And 3, you send me referrals. Like he actually trained us that is part of how we pay him, is to send referrals. And, we're part of a networking groups out there, and asking for the referral, asking for help, like people are afraid to do that. But I will point out, as so many people want to start out at the high ticket, there's nothing stopping you from that. But there's also the concept that I see this image in my mind. There's a poster out there that I've seen on somebody's wall of a ballerina's 2 feet. And one foot is in the beautiful tights and the beautiful point shoe, and the other foot is out of the shoe, bloody and wrapped in band-aids falling off, right? And the meme is everyone wants the glory, but no one wants to do the work. And I do have to say that, look, you've got to, I know you want to replace your income. Maybe you came from corporate or you're ready to scale. That's awesome. But you have to do the work. You have to have a body of work for people to believe in you and for you to believe in yourself, right? So I do think you can leverage one endorsement into the next client. But also there's a confidence that comes with putting in the time. My first coach told me, when you've coached 100 people, you'll know what you're doing. And I used to keep a little tab by the phone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It didn't matter if it was a consultation call or a full-fledged client. And the day I hit the 100th client was somebody who sized up his situation in 3 minutes, and he never hired me because it was done in the one call. But I was like, okay, number 100, I know what I'm doing. So there's a balance between faking it till you make it and putting in the time so that you're not faking it. You're just leveraging your fantastic results. And that's, to me, that's how you get on the A-list and also how do you talk about those outcomes? If you tell people, well, I'm a marketing strategist or I'm a career coach, and I've built my reputation as a career coach, helping people figure out what to do with their life. And when people ask me what I do, I say I help people figure out what to do with their life. Or I help people turn their idea into $100,000 in 4 months. Talk about the outcome, not your title. Mm-hmm. And that makes a difference to getting people comfortable with you, with working with you. Their reaction should be, oh, really? How do you do that? Or where were you last year? I needed you. Or my son needs you. Or, my business partner needs you. That should be their reaction. And it doesn't happen unless you talk about the outcome you create. That's your calling card. That's your way to the A-list.
And that is so true. I remember telling my ideal client, we were in the networking meeting, and he asked me, so what do you do? And I said, I'm a conversion events strategist. And he looked at me and like, oh, that's cool. So what is that exactly? and I knew I was talking a foreign language with him.
That's right.
So if we are talking, like if I was talking to somebody in my group or my coaching group, they would know what that means. But my ideal client didn't know.
That's
So
right.
right there, I'm like, I'm preparing this, very long dialogue of what do I do? And because I was not ready. And I feel like even with the for the A list, like you're saying, you need to be sharp, tell them what you do, how you can support them, like the outcome, so
Yep.
that becomes memorable, right?
Memorable and repeatable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just met this woman who can help you figure out what to do with your life, or I just met this person who can help you scale your business to 7 figures, right? So that's something that's repeatable and simple. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember, like I told you, I've been doing this a long time, and the pain that you would feel when people would glaze over when you said you were a coach or something. They'd be like, "Oh, that's nice." That's how you know nothing's going to come of that.
Yes.
That glazed over look. So you really need to get it down to a sharp outcome that will interest the person you're talking to.
So when it comes to the A list, do you feel like it's important for us to reach out or to just put ourselves out there and just say, I'm just going to be showing up and going to places, or actually ask for that, for that?
Ask for the sale, right?
Yeah.
The power of asking is huge. I think so many people leave money on the table because they don't ask. I know people are uncomfortable with, well, what's selling and what's too pushy. I think it's a combination of attracting and asking. And attracting means, if you're part of a networking group, if you're speaking somewhere, if you're part of even a volunteer team for something in your community, that you really show up in a way that you're helping other people, you're supporting people, you're championing people, you're showing leadership. And then when it comes to asking, people already have a sense of you. They already trust you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I find people who are contributors are then the easiest people for others to trust when they say they have an offer or they ask. So it's a balance, I think.
So you don't need to have years and years of experience, as long as you're creating transformation. And you, like you're saying, you can ask for testimonials, you can do free coaching, you can be showing up on podcasts, and just collecting that experience and that feedback from the audience, from the people that you supported, to create that, to be considered the A list. And then, of course, with the years of experience, like you're saying, you reached 100, so you could feel like, okay, now now I
I
got
know
that.
what I'm doing, right? And now
Yeah.
it's tens of thousands of hours, so I don't even know how many and how many clients. And so, but there's a humility that comes with that too, because just when you think you know everything, then there's something that comes up that you've never seen before. So everything's a dance, everything's polarity, right? There's one side to it and the other side to it, holding that tension in balance. And so when you're starting out or you're thinking of launching or building that reputation or putting yourself out there, as long as you can speak to people moving the needle, that's the credibility there, right? So it's not the huge resume of accomplishments, but anytime you tell a story, make it be a client story. Don't make it a story about yourself necessarily, other than when you're introducing yourself. Talk about, instead of talking about a theory about something or just telling people what to do, illustrate that with a story of a client who did it or a business case that you saw happen. And that really brings your credibility to life as well. It helps people imagine themselves in that scenario. So it becomes possible for them and they want to jump on board.
So here's something that just happened to me. I was invited to be part of of an event, and I was very excited about it. I reached out and I said, yes, I would love to be part of this event. And when the lady sent me the details, she was charging $497. That's how much I would have to pay. So for me, that was kind of why didn't you bring that, up front? But
Right.
she said, now you're going to be seen along with this A list of people, and it's an opportunity for you. So I figured out later on that she was not charging the A list, but she was charging us to be seen alongside with the A-list. So how do you feel about it, and what's your take on that?
I I came from the acting world, and there was a tenet, like a rule in the acting world. If an agent wants to charge you to be in their practice, or if the modeling agency is going to charge you to be in their book, that's a scam. So in my world, you want me to pay for an opportunity? Nah, that's not legitimate. That's, to me, you're taking advantage of people who want to be seen as an A-lister. And believe me, it does nothing for you. Like when people take a picture with a famous person, like, okay, so you took a picture with a famous person. That doesn't tell me that you're on some caliber just because you paid to go be standing next to a famous person, right? So I don't buy into that at all, but you have to remember where I've come from. I've had the opportunity to share the stage with some bigger names, and I know that I wasn't the name, and at the same time, you assume equality and respect seniority, right? So I think behaving as an equal is great. Paying for the opportunity to play as an equal, to me, it's not worth it. It's a scam. I'd rather get there on my own merits. Like when they call you up and they're like, hey, we'd love to put you on, in XYZ magazine, or we'd love to put you on the airplane doing a video in front of millions of passengers, and you can pay for that opportunity. I'm like, no, you can pay me because my talent and my content is that good.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people who tell you differently. There's people who pay for those opportunities who make it work. But from the world I came from, you don't do that.
Yeah, it didn't feel right with me. I have no problems with sponsorships and people saying, hey, do you want to be be a sponsor and support our event and, being part of
And
it.
that comes with a certain amount of visibility, sure.
Exactly. But for me to put me, and I like the upfront conversation
Yes.
instead of, hey, we need your message, you're amazing. And that also happens in the summit industry, and I see that a lot. We need your message, we need you here. And then when they say, yes, I would love to be part of it, how big is your email list?
Right.
And then they say, oh, not for this project. And then now, to me, as if I am that person, I would be like, you just lost an opportunity to connect with me on the bigger level. You just wanted to be with me. I might be your referral partner, and I don't believe in burning bridges unless you come up front and you say, I'm working on this project that requires this many people in your email list. Is this something you want to be part of?
Right.
That's something different. Then it's like upfront, we are having a conversation up front. But when you bring somebody in with that expectation and now you offer, them to pay, that to me, it just doesn't feel right. And I see that happening a lot, even paid testimonials. Like I heard somebody saying that, yes, I can give a testimonial, but you know what? My time is it's so tight right now. And, I charge per hour. And my client came to me and she said, do you think I should I should pay her? I said, no. So she charges per hour, for her time. Well, if she was really happy and she's coming back for more services from you, then why not just support you? And we are coming in a time, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, where the value right now comes from relationships, especially after the 2 years that we went by. A lot of the business that survived from people that really have that relationship with the business, that wanted to see that business thrive and want to support the business. And coming into 2022, I have been seeing a shift on the market that if you are that A-list if you have that A-list, if you are on that A-list where people can trust you, they're going to be more likely to refer you and to do business with you, to trust you.
Well, I think integrity is my highest value. It's not in integrity to bring someone along and say, "Oh, now I'm going to charge you." I think that relationships are important, but I also think that it's a mindset. You know what I mean? Like if you are a believer in building relationships, you might be different from the person who's all about the money. You know what I mean? It's a different value set. So you just have to pick your lane and do business the way you want to do business. And, you know, and I told you mine, you know, like I'm just, if it feels like a seduction, if it feels icky, then it's not right for you, you know, and there are times when I've said no because something just didn't feel in integrity, even though on the outside people might think, oh, you missed a great opportunity. I just won't be seduced by that, right? And it is, it's a seduction. You have to look at that. You have to look at when you get those offers, what's the return on that investment, right? So whether it's a return on your time or a return on your visibility, a return on perhaps thanking somebody for something. Like, for example, I'm an author 5 times over, and you know how people write the little blurbs on your book, like they read the book and they give you an endorsement quote? Those are a whole hierarchy of A-listers and B-listers too. And, you know, if you get someone to endorse your book who has a lot of credibility, that feels like a wonderful win. But at the same time, if as an author, you also have to watch for, like, do I put my name on everybody's book? If I put my name on everybody's book, is there any value in my endorsement since I give it to everybody, right? Yeah. So it is about, you know, and when I put my name on someone else's book, there's no return on that investment. I'm just happy to help that person who I know and I like their work and I trust them. But at the same time, your name has, you know, if you overexpose your name, then it loses the credibility, right?
Great
So,
point.
right? So think of celebrities who do too many commercials. Like, oh, they're selling, you know, hair dye and they're selling water and they're selling cream and they're selling this. Like you don't care anymore. But if a celebrity picks one thing that they really believe in and they have a nice campaign with somebody and maybe it's very original, you still have respect for them.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So it's not about whoring yourself out there. It's about integrity. And you, in the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. So building your A-list status, you still have to like yourself. So only do the things that you're going to feel good about doing to build your reputation.
Okay. So just to recap from what you're saying, what I got is start, you know, humble and count every single win. Track every single win and go for the feedback. Ask for the feedback and do work and align yourself with people that will support your mission, your values, but they also are going to give you an opportunity to shine and give you feedback, right?
Great.
And then after that, just keep building those relationships and keep building your list and just be, you know, true to yourself. Did I get it right?
Yeah, I love that, actually. I'm going to have to go back and watch this and take notes. And should I tell you what my challenge is for everyone in the group?
Yes, please.
Okay, so when you go into the Facebook group, I want you to write down your outcomes, right? I don't care. I don't want you to tell me any fluffy, shiny thing that you can brag about, like that you did a book, you did this, that. I don't care. I care what outcome did you create for somebody. What outcomes do you create for your clients? So think of one of your great client stories and say, I help people go from this to this, you know, to stuck to found, from poor to rich, whatever it is. So write those outcomes in there and I'll come into the Facebook group and comment on them. And thank you, Fernanda, for the opportunity to be here and launchpreneur your way away, people. It's really fun when you do it in integrity and you do it with what aligns with you. That way it will work. It has to be aligned with you or it won't work.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Laura, for sharing all your knowledge with us. And besides the free gift, Laura also has a VIP experience gift. And I will let you talk about that, Laura, and how, why they would love to be part of the VIP experience to take advantage of your gift.
Sure. First, let me say quickly the gift that everybody gets. The reason why I put a purpose module out there for you to drill down on your purpose is that it's really helpful to your branding. It's very unique. We get you down to one word that would be really helpful with your branding. And then the VIP gift is the 5 steps to a consultation, how do you, in 20 minutes or less, get people to be so happy to say yes to you and sign on the dotted line? So enjoy those.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here today, Laura, and I hope to see you all in the group. And thank you.